Yo, what's up, guys? This is How to the Ray Dragon. I'm here today with a special video. We are going to be looking at the web novel for the Devil May Cry 5 video game that just came out recently. So this nightmare is like a pseudo prequel, I guess you can say, because it actually tells us events that you guys would not know about if you haven't you would not know about because it's not actually something that was introduced in the game Devil May Cry. So I thought before we actually get into the game, why not do a reading of this web novel? So this web novel has like a couple chapters that we're gonna have to get into. So unfortunately, we won't be getting into the complete thing now, but I will be doing a live reading of this every which time before I do like actual live streams of Devil May Cry 5 on my Twitch channel. So tonight I'm doing this right now, and then tomorrow, or you guys will you guys will probably see tomorrow my first live stream of the Devil May Cry 5 video game. So let's go ahead and actually get into this. So we're going to be going into it says the Devil May Cry before the thing. So let's actually go down. It says, what is Devil May Cry Before the Nightmare? Devil May Cry Before the Nightmare is the official prequel novel of Devil May Cry 5. It was published on March 1st, 2019 by Kadokawa. There we go. This novel is in Japanese only, and there are currently no announced plans to translate it. This means the only Japanese audience get the full story behind the Devil May Cry 5. With this in mind, Platinum DMC5 Info's translator co-admin worked tirelessly to translate this 260-page book before the Devil May Cry 5's release. So yeah, that's basically like the gist of it, what this is. So let's go ahead and get into the prequel chapter. So the chapters that we're going to be reading tonight are the prologue chapters, the Nero chapter, and then the Dante chapter. So we're going to be reading those chapters first. So let's go ahead and get this thing started. So the prologue chapter, it says Nico is meeting an occult journalist named Jeffery Tuner in a bar. Jeffery works for the Occult Times magazine. Nico drink of choice is a boilermaker with beer and bourbon. Nico tells Jeffery to call her Miss Goldstein and produce a copy of Occult Times from 5 years ago. Jeffery gets nostalgic about this issue as it contains the first features that he ever wrote. How the Savior attacked Fortuna. Nico bluntly tells him she doesn't care about his nostalgia. Jeffery is curious about how she knows about Fortuna, as it is one of the most secluded regions of the world and its citizens are quite antiquated. He tells Nico that he didn't witness the events for himself, but he heard that the city was destroyed by a white giant. Nico tells Jeffery that while the magazine may exaggerate the truth or mix in a few falsehoods, those events did happen. Jeffery tried to investigate the Order of the Sword as best as he could, but the Order, the leaders, high members, etc., had disappeared, while general members remained. They became skeptical of the Order's creed. Jeffrey speculates that the white giant was a result of some sort of failed summoning ritual that destroyed the city. Nico says she tries to investigate Fortuna herself, but most places have a no entry sign, and she stood out among the citizens as an outsider. That is interesting. Jeffrey tries to make a toast with Nico and picks up his glass, but she ignores him. He goes back to the magazine. He sighs and puts his glass down. Nico goes back to the magazine where she shows Jeffrey a picture of Fortuna covered in rubble. In this picture, is a young man whose face is concealed. Nico asks about the young man, and Jeffery says that this is N. He was like a point of contact with Jeffery about the story, but he didn't give a lot of helpful information. Nico asked if N seemed like a member of the order, and Jeffery said he did, but he had departed from them. Nico wants to know N's name, but Jeffery is appreciative. He asks why she wants to know N's name, and Nico immediately replies that she wants to meet N. Jeffery would usually forget people's names, but this case was special to him as it was his first overseas reporting, and he was so enthusiastic. Now his career is dwindling, so he outright tells her that his name is Nero. So we're talking about the main character now. N is Nero, okay? Nico also asks if he has a surname, but Jeffery says he doesn't know. Jeffery asks Nico why she's going to Fortuna. She replies, I am aiming high, as in aiming for the stars. She drops her bourbon in her beer glass, sinks it in one drink, gives a big smile, and leaves. She leaves behind her copy of Occult Times and tells Jeffery to keep it as a memento. Jeffery wonders if he's heard the name Goldstein before, but he's too drunk to remember. Okay, so first of all, this is actually pretty interesting. So right now we are learning about Fortuna and what it actually ended up before, and we also learned that Nero was somebody that Jeffery interacted with once he went to investigate Fortuna himself. So that's some pretty interesting stuff right there. Okay, so let's go with chapter 1, Nero chapter 1. It said the chapter begins with Nero working in his garage as he struggles to get Red Queen to rev properly. Red Queen is the sword, and the revving mechanism is something that you can do in the game. If you guys actually watch my demo of Devil May Cry 5, you will see me basically practicing to rev up Red Queen says. Nero playfully speaks to the sword and as if it's pouting. While tidying in the garage, Giulio, an orphan that Nero helps Kyrie, I think that's how you say it. Yeah, I think it's Kyrie, take care of, says that there's a strange woman outside. Nero asks what makes her so strange. Does she have 3 eyes and no nose? Giulio replies that it's not her appearance that's weird. It's the fact that she says she's searching for Nero. After the Order of the Sword incident, Nero is wary of strangers as occult reporters, novelists, etc. come to the city for details, but he can't tell them the truth. Giulio says that the woman has dark skin and glasses. Believing this woman to be Gloria, Nero asks Giulio if her hair is white. Giulio says that her hair is black and frizzy. Overhearing this, Nero yells, "Who has black frizzy hair, you stupid brat?" and barges to the front of the garage. Giulio then points to her and Nero says, "It's rude to point, brat." Giulio would normally retort, but Nero tells him to go to Kyrie with a serious face, so he listens. Yeah, Kyrie. Nero asks what business Nico has while making sure to hide his devil bringer from her. He feels that the devil bringer bestowed him with great demonic power and uses it to protect the person that he loves. While he used to be sick of its ugly appearance, he is now grateful for it. It is stated that Nero uses his arm to judge whether someone is a demon or not. If they are a demon, his arm has some sort of reaction. As his arm does not react, he believes she is either a human or a demon with minimal powers. Nico asks him if he's Nero. Nero insists that she stops smoking before asking any more questions, as he hates smoking and the garage is filled with combustible items. Okay, so this is the introduction of, well, this is the first interaction between Nico and Nero, which is interesting. Nico basically tells him that he should save the lecture for the bloody kid from earlier. Nero starts to get irritated by her rudeness and tells her to put the cigarette out or get out. She drops the cigarette to the floor, squashes it with her boot, and says, "Is this okay? No smoking, boy." Nero thinks she's an unpleasant woman. Nero estimates that they are the same age. Maybe she's a little younger, but she acts like she's older than him. Senpai. I don't think we need that. I think it says, as Nico enters the garage, she keeps both arms in the air. She teases him by saying, "Are you going to hit me?" A frail woman. As she approaches him, she sees the devil bringer. Nero is afraid of what might happen from her seeing it. However, she sits on a box in the corner and says, "What? Have a complex about it? Don't worry. It's part of who you are." She then introduces herself as Nicoletta Goldstein and says that she has a favor to ask Nero. Nico is looking for a missing Order of the Sword demonic research document. She says that she has no choice but to ask surviving members of the Order for help finding them. While talking to Nico, Nero notes that there is no ill will in her eyes, more like childlike curiosity. Nero asks how Nico knew about the Order researching demons, as this wasn't public knowledge. She says that she researched this information from a range of people, from demon hunters to a chain-smoking, gossip-loving old lady. We always get one of those people. As Nico shows knowledge of demons and demon hunters, Nero reflects that this is the first time that someone with a genuine connection to demons has found him. Because of this, he rejects her request to help her find Order documents. After being told no, Nico doesn't leave. Instead, she asks how Agnes is now. This shocks Nero, and he tells Nico that he was killed. Nico, with an air of loneliness, says that she'd heard about that rumor. Nero asks how she knows that asshole, and Nico says that he's her biological father. Well, of course he is, because what type of series would this be if that wasn't the case? Ugh. Nero is in disbelief and can't stop questioning Nico about it. Her response is simply, "Yeah, what bad luck." During the "you're his daughter" exchange, Nico notes Red Queen and instantly picks it up. Nero scolds her for touching his stuff without permission. Nico begins examining Red Queen and gets so excited at its design that she begins to stutter. Nero keeps trying to snatch it from her, but eventually stops and watches in awe as she quickly identifies what's wrong with Red Queen and begins to repair it. Interesting, she already knows how to repair demon arms. Well, devil bringers, I should say. I only call it demon arm because I was thinking of a different series. As she fixes it, she scolds Nero and calls him an idiot for not keeping up with Red Queen's regular maintenance. He then begins to accept that this is Agnes's daughter, as they both share the same love of research and even have a similar skin color. Nico repairs Red Queen and says to it, "Baby, how are you doing?" And she tests it out by revving it, but its power knocks her to the floor. While Nero thought she'd get angry, she smiles and dusts herself off, saying that Red Queen is very rowdy but a cutie. After repairing Red Queen, Nero is in debt to Nico. He decides to show her the Order documents, and this makes her smile from ear to ear. She tells him that from now on he's allowed to call her Nico. The chapter ends with Nero thinking about the man who killed her father, Dante. Okay. So that was a very interesting interaction between these two. So getting Nico going out to find Nero, the person that was actually mentioned to her by the previous person, and then them having like this pseudo conversation with, of course, Nero being skeptical of her at first, but then they having actually a civilized conversation when she reveals herself to be Agnes's daughter, and the fact that she also seems to be completely okay with the fact that this boy has a devil bringer, and she even knows what a devil bringer is and even how to work, and she repairs Red Queen for him. That right there is and there is the start of a relationship, like some type of relationship, although it doesn't actually tell you where they're going, what their relationship is actually going after that. You already know that it's already going in a positive direction, due to the fact that she helps him with Red Queen, due to the fact she opens up a little bit to him, and due to the fact that Nero is able to basically have a pseudo normal conversation about this whole demon business, but also the fact that she is that she has a connection to somebody that he knows. So right now we're going to now jump into Dante's chapter 1, which is actually fairly interesting because we want to know what is going on with Dante, due to the fact that he has been added, well, he not added, but he was brought into Devil May Cry 5 from what the trailer, or like the previous trailers has shown us. I haven't played the game, so I don't even know what Dante is doing right now, but let's go ahead and look at Dante chapter 1. The chapter begins with Dante reaching Mary Island and speaking with Maitner on the harbor. He struggles to recall her name and asks if her name is I think it's Mattia, which she then corrects as Matir. She says that Sparta would forget her and other women's names as well. That just tells him that his dad was a bit of a player, or even worse than that, a manho. Okay. Sparta is described as Mundus's right-hand man who betrayed him due to feeling compassion towards humans. Of course, before meeting Eva, Sparta would travel the world, and that is how he met Mater. Dante doesn't have many memories of Sparta, but recalls receiving sword fighting lessons with Virgil. At this time, he had no idea that his father was a demon and didn't know about the legend of Sparta. Right. Because I keep forgetting that Dante had some of his earlier memories with his father. But because of the fact that his father died so early on, I keep forgetting if he actually if he actually had any memories of his father, or if he didn't meet his father at all, which is a very interesting thing, especially because of the fact that his father kept the fact that they were demons away from Dante. If I remember correctly, Dante is a human devil hybrid. So, like in the new DMC, he's a demon and angel hybrid, which was weird as hell, but that's neither here nor there. So let's actually get back to where we were. So Dante doesn't have many of Sparta, but okay, right. Mater calls Dante cruel for not returning to the island after the incident around 10 years ago. Dante says he couldn't help it because he was stuck in a garage dump and traveling between the human world and demon world isn't easy. Mater asks how he was able to escape hell, and he says that a hole unexpectedly opened up and he traveled through it. Because of course it is, because we can't get a actual proper explanation until we learn a little bit more about it. But right now, how he explains it just sounds like it was a random event, but I don't think it was actually random at all. Okay, where was I? Wasn't easy. Mater asks how he escaped. Right, he traveled through it. Sometimes holes connecting to the demon world will suddenly appear, but I think this was, as I stated, I think it was purposefully. These holes seem to be why Dunmori Island requires guardians to protect it. It seems that small port cities have a higher likelihood of holes appearing, which is used to explain why Dummery Island and Fortuna have demons appearing. The novel states that when demons enter the human world, they only project their consciousness into another physical entity. Okay, right, because sometimes demons don't have their own physical bodies as they enter the human world. I don't remember what the reason for this was, but we'll get to that later. If a demon wants to enter with its physical body, the hull has to be massive. All right, that's why. Because demons themselves are massive existences, even if their bodies are not that massive. Even if their bodies are not that massive, they're still such massive existences that they sometimes can't bring their entire body into the human world because of the portals that they go to are far too small and far less powerful to basically withstand them trying to travel through it. So they have to put their consciousness into other living beings and do that, and through that they kind of gain control of that person or thing that they're possessing until they can either find a hole that is massive enough for them to bring their entire form through to the human world, or not. So okay, Marie. If a demon wants to enter its physical body, it has to be massive. Dante feels like it wasn't a coincidence that there was a hole large enough for him to pass through. Exactly, that's what I'm saying. It doesn't feel as if it was just a coincidence. There must be something. When he went to Fortuna and saw the Hell Gate, he suddenly understood that perhaps his escape from hell was related to Yamato, the sword. Dante describes Yamato as a memento from their father that has the ability to cut away the boundary between the human world and the demon world. Mateer says that Lucia objected to calling Dante back to Dommery Island, but there aren't many young men left on the island. Dante says that he's not exactly a young man anymore. He contemplates his own lifespan in relation to Sparta's and wonders when he'll be considered an old man. Then this is due to the fact that demons live for a very long time. Even though Dante looks like he's aged, he's probably not even that age. It's probably just a cosmetic thing. Lucia waits for Dante to return from hell and made several round trips to the office and back to see if he returned. When Dante did return, they hugged and she cried. However, Dante had to leave shortly after as he received a call with the password. What this password is, we'll find out soon. It says Dante has a rule where he tries to keep his focus solely on a job. Mater scolds him and says that it's not like she's asking Dante to marry Lucia for life. He just wants him to give her one happy memory. He says, "My bad, I have my reasons." Then Mater scolds him again for his subpar apology and says that Sparta had a better way with words. Dante says that he likes to think he's a better man than his father, causing Mater to jab him with her cane. She says if that's the case, he needs to stop being rude to Lucia. Tired of getting lectured, Dante changes the subject to why Mater asked him to come. Mater asks him if he remembers the demon that brought him to the island last time. Dante says that he killed things like a big monkey, Oranguria, I think that's how you say it, Oranguria, but Mater has to remind him that he killed Argosax. Dante considers remembering the names of all the demons he defeated as a waste of his brain. Dude, I can say so many things to that, but I'm gonna leave that alone. However, there's one name he always remembers: Mundus, the demon who brought harm to his mother. Of course he's gonna remember Mundus' name. Mundus was like the big villain in his series. Was one of the big villains in his series. Mater says that the demon that had appeared was Argosax's right-hand man. Dante jokes that he dealt with a number. We're one guy, now he has to deal with the number 2 guy. Dante starts to remember Argosax, but also remembers that he wasn't much of a threat to him. According to Mater, around half of hell have rallied around this right-hand man, and he has been saving his strength for the past decade to come through to the human world because of this demon's size. Mater doesn't think it could just slip through a hole. Instead, she reckons that a human is summoning it through a ritual. Because of course a human would try to do something like that, because they are oblivious. Well, they're either apathetic or oblivious to the consequences that this is going to cause. So yeah, of course it's going to happen. But she doesn't think that would happen easily on the island with her and Lucia protecting it. Dante asks if she knows who is summoning the demons, but she can't find any evidence of who it is. Particularly as Arias is no longer alive. Dante asks the name of the demon, and Mater laughs, saying, "Aren't you going to forget it tomorrow? The demon's name is Balrog." Huh? This isn't Street Fighter. Why is that the first thing I think of when I hear the name Balrog? According to legend, he's a ferocious fire demon. Be careful. Hearing this warning makes Dante smile, and that's actually how this ends off. So when we come back, when I do my next video, which is probably tomorrow as well, because after the live stream I could do another of this bait. I'm going to get into Nero's second chapter, which it says right here, it's chapter 2. Basically what this is more of a bulletin thing, because I don't have the actual novel on hand, so which is unfortunate. So what I'm basically doing is reading a Google document of the base highlights of this entire novel translation, as you guys have actually noticed. But it's fairly interesting stuff so far, getting to learn what is going on, how Dante actually came back from hell, because that was actually never explained to us, because the last time we saw, he was on his bike going through hell. They basically traveling through hell on his motorcycle. So now we actually understand why he's back in the human world, how he got there, but we don't understand who it is that's actually, we don't know completely who it was that actually sent him back, although he has a guess that maybe Yamato is one of the reasons for it, which is an interesting concept, because of the sword Yamato's ability to cut through dimensions. So yeah, pretty interesting stuff so far. So yeah, this has been Hunter Ray Dragon. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Not the type of reading I would have liked to do because of how it is, but still an interesting little read in and of itself. So once again, when I come back, we will be getting into, let's look at this real quick. It is Nero, of course, chapter 2, Dante of chapter 2, and Nico 1. Those are the three I'm going to be doing when I come back. So yeah, this has been Hunter Ray Dragon. Make sure you guys leave me comments down in the comment section below. Tell me what you guys thought about this. Make sure you guys leave me a like, that greatly helps my channel. Make sure you guys share this on other social media. And I hope to see you guys during my live stream, and I hope to see you guys during the next video. Peace.